City in the sky blue, who kick us off and underway then, kicking from right to left in this first half under grey skies, warm afternoon, and Steph Houghton hits long then for Nikita Parris, who stretches and only plays it back to Kim Little, and an early feel of the ball for Surrey van Veenendaal. Kim Little found it difficult, I thought, to get into the cup final last week.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a bad injury that she's come back from, Jonathan, that, you know, you need a few games to get yourself back in it. Big picture at Wembley, big occasion, but I'm sure she will just get better and better the more minutes she plays.
It's the Euros with a cruciate knee ligament injury. Went out to Melbourne and returned in January, of course, to English football. Kim Little, Jill Scott, who will be a danger in the Arsenal penalty box and crucial in her own penalty box as well today.
I'm interested to see, JP, how Nadia Nadim does on this left-hand side with Jane Ross. They've not really played together yet, and I'd quite like to see her, what she's like wide. I'm presuming that she'll swap with Nikita Parris, but, you know, both of them direct, good players, but Jane Ross is a goal scorer. Get her in front of goal, and more often than not, she'll get it on target.
She joined earlier this year, Nadia Nadim, and the coach was telling me beforehand she hasn't really had the benefit of a full pre-season. She started in the European Championships last summer for Denmark, Nadim, but hasn't hit those heights again yet. But I think a year in English football will suit her, and she'll be better for it.
Yes. All sorts of other facets within a player's life, and they move to a different country, and like you say, they've not had a proper pre-season, but, you know, off the pitch they need to get used to being around an English team, and I'm sure she's here next season that you'll really see Nadia Nadim that we saw in the Euros last summer.
Well, Arsenal at the moment can't get out of their own half. Little couldn't bring it under control. Here's Walsh, who's had such a terrific season and has come through to the England senior team, and Abim Manus likewise. Scott looks long then for Jane Ross, who's done well when she's played, 5 goals in the last 6 games.
See, Man City are set up to press as high as possible because they know that Arsenal play out. Sometimes they play out when they shouldn't really play out, and they're going to try and win the ball right in their defensive third, in the attacking third for Man City. That's why they can't get out. They're just putting themselves in there, putting them under pressure.
Arsenal, I think, left Medina far too isolated in the cup final. She hasn't touched the ball yet. The player who scored the only goal in the Continental Cup final on March the 14th against Manchester City at Wickham. Here's Knops. Looks for Lisa Evans. Now Van der Donk should be much happier in a more creative forward-running role than the deeper line position she occupied at Wembley, but it's given away at the heart of midfield by Janssen. Here's Parris now for Manchester City, looking to play Ross in a strong piece of goalkeeping by Van Veenendaal, who came up quickly.
Yeah, much better intensity, even the opening 3.5 minutes from Manchester City than they were on Tuesday night, winning the ball, hassling the opposition and just onside, and that's where Jane Ross wants the ball, but Van Veenendaal, fair play to her, out quick off the line and blocking that obvious goal-scoring chance for Jane Ross.
Manchester City have won 4 of the last 5 WSL meetings. They've won all 3 of their WSL visits to Arsenal. Arsenal's last win against City came in the spring series in May 17. Jordan Nobbs scored the only goal in that game. It should be crucial for Arsenal today. Janssen back to Louise Quinn, who's had a decent season. Well, better than decent. It's being unfair to her, actually. He's the England captain and the Manchester City captain. So much will depend on this. There's a game Manchester City must win, with Chelsea at home to Sunderland later. Then they go to Bristol City and Liverpool, who upset Manchester City, of course, in the week. This Manchester City have Yeovil and Everton at home. Here is Nobbs.
The intensity that Man City are working at now, they just did not reach those heights on Tuesday night. They just couldn't drag it out of themselves. 6 or 7 of the players had bad games, and, you know, they obviously want to put it right today.
Nobbs, who recently passed 150 games for the club's closing down there on Walsh. And Nottingham couldn't hold it up. Player with the extraordinary history. She comes from Afghanistan, and her father was executed by the Taliban as a refugee. Her and her mother and the family thought they were coming to England. They ended up in Denmark. She had to fight for Danish nationality, and of course has become a terrific Danish international player. Was brilliant at the Euros last summer. Last time I saw you, I think, was at the Euros. I think you were drinking beer by a canal, I seem to remember. I think I was on the fruit juice, was I?
Yeah, that's the story. That's really correct, that, JP.
Now Medema, back to her. Out wide now to Lisa Evans. It's over behind the bar. They love to get the full-backs high, don't they, Arsenal?
Yeah, they do. I mean, that's the thing about Miedema up front, is that, you know, she's a strong physical player. She likes to score goals, and, you know, get the ball into her and then get the ball out wide, or get the ball out wide and into her in the 6-yard box. And that's how he's looked at his team since he's got here, and they've definitely looked a better team, Jonathan.
Took Melbourne City to the double in 2016 in Australian football. They were unbeaten that year. Started off as a youth coach in a club called Green Gully. So Medema inside the penalty area. Underdog trying to wriggle into some sort of space. It is played into Medema, but cleared away. Here's Little. And now Janssen, who didn't use the ball really very well in the cup final last week. Here's Van der Donk. She got frustrated at Wembley. Evans with the cross into the box and looking for Mead coming in, and it's cleared away. And his fire's got such a terrific effort and a very, very good save.
That's exactly where you want Jordan Nobbs. I mean, they had far too much time on this right-hand side, Lisa Evans, but gets control of the ball, Jordan Nobbs. In either foot, she can do that with, and what an excellent save that is from Karen Bardsley. She had a lot of time to look at it, but she still had to reach it.
One England teammate against another. Jordan scored in the under-19 UEFA final in 2009 from 30 yards against Sweden. And she has a habit of hitting them from there. Comes the first corner and a big punch away from Karen Bardsley. And was that a penalty? There were muted appeals, no more than that for the challenge on Mead. Now is Janssen with the cross in. Again, Bardsley tested and again handles very well. And she's come back impressively from injury. But was this a penalty?
Yeah, I think they were both looking at the ball, and just a little bit of a nudge. Beth Mead manages to get herself in front of Medema, where the referee just didn't even give it a second thought by the look of it.
I think there needed to be more than that. The penalty there. He's ended on Evans into Medema. Strong challenge on it by Jennifer Beattie, present this season for Manchester City. In possession of Georgia Stanway. Back in midfield today, the teenager from Barrow-in-Furness. She played on the left-hand side the other day in that defeat at Liverpool. I think she'll be happier in there. She was fouled by Janssen.
They've got herself in some good positions on Tuesday night, but the finishing, and she wasn't the worst, but finishing wasn't up to her usual standards. She can score goals from way out of the box.
12 this season, a very good season. A couple of wet Linköpings in the Champions League, you remember. Up to Medema now for Arsenal.
Beth England on Tuesday night caused problems for Steph Houghton and Jen Beattie at the back for Man City, because she got in between them. You see Miedema then just drift away from Steph Houghton.
Don't back off. Don't back off.
Medema's cross, Beattie brings it under control. Played so well in the two Champions League semi-final games against Lyon defensively, and they were competitive in the middle third, but they lacked a cutting edge up front. Lacked any variety really there. And here's Little.
Something that Arsenal have missed, Kim Little, her game craft. Obviously similar to Van der Donk in terms of what she expects to do with the ball, but the more minutes she plays, the fitter that she gets, and Arsenal get that player back that's, she was one of the best in the world, and really clever player, Kim Little.
bitterly disappointed last weekend. They really didn't show up at Wembley. It was only their second ever FA Cup final loss in 16 finals. They've lost their last 2 games in all competitions. Had that disappointment in the league at Birmingham. Alan White scored a hat-trick against their old club. They lost 3 games in a row in all competitions back in May 2014. But I would add that those 2 defeats are only defeats in their last 16 games. Giving it away here though, Arsenal. Stanway breezes here beyond Williamson. And pushes it in, looking for Nadim, and the goalkeeper has slipped and has paid the penalty, and Manchester City lead at Arsenal in a game they need to win to keep alive the title race, and they're ahead.
That was a good finish in the end from Nadim, but it all came about. There's a good ball in, but it all came about. The slip from Van Veenendaal. As a goalkeeper, she's always quick off the line. Closed out, I've already seen it today on Jane Ross, but they won the ball again, right in the middle, 3 on 3 here. Good movement from Nadim, and it's a clever little ball through, but you can't see there from that angle, but Van Veenendaal had slipped, and it just gave Nadia Nadim the opportunity to slide the ball past her. Good play by Manchester City, and they've started the game well.
It's a 6th goal in Manchester City colours. She scored it in that romp at Bristol City the other day, the big 6-1 win. I honestly believe that should she still be around in Manchester City colours this time next year, you'd have seen a much better season from her. Beattie. Little just fell in the middle of the pitch. They did water the pitch here intensely in the build-up to the game. 1 or 2 players slipping.
It's a pretty firm pitch, but obviously a little bit of wet on top. But where mould is, then it may slip.
Intention is that it's a little slick surface, the watering, to enable a quick passing game. Here's Walsh. No sign of weariness, mentally or physically, about Manchester City today. I just think there's a danger. Do you not see that if people talk about it too often? Oh, we're weary, the players are weary, or we feel weary, we've had too many games, that it can affect them mentally. This is Manchester City's 10th game in 48 days, but as the game becomes more professional, more competitive, they're going to have to get used to it.
Absolutely do with it. The goal here, you see from a different angle, clever little ball through from Stanway, and the slip there, that is a vital slip, because she would have made more ground up on Nadim. Yeah, I think players are simple creatures. You tell them something enough times and they start to believe it, and that's the case obviously with negative things as well, like being tired, mentally tired. But you know, there's a different Manchester City today than it was Tuesday night, and they surely should be more tired as they've had an extra game, but a bit more zip in the play, more intensity closing down.
It's a free kick. A strange slump for Manchester City, that's for sure. 2 wins in their last 7. They failed to score in 5 of those. Behind Chelsea by 3 points. 6 of their last 13 games. They were unbeaten in their opening 21. And when they lose, they fail to score. So this is a good omen, the fact they have found the back of the net. Wharton away. Veenendaal is out there towards Louise Quinn. She'll send her back from Ireland. She's 6 foot tall. It's a rarity in the women's game.
She's been a good addition for Arsenal, because she heads it and kicks it, organises at the back, and it does help the rest of the back four.
And they get the cross in here for Mitchell, the left back. It's a good header away by Demi Stokes. That'll be a good battle, that. Van der Donk against Stokes. It's a corner kick here to Arsenal.
Feisty player, Van der Donk. She's not afraid to put her foot in and get involved in any of the physical side, regardless of the size of her.
Mead is there. 2 centre-halves are up as well. Leah Williamson hasn't scored this season. Louise Quinn has a couple. Same towards her. As she arrives, scored that last gasp goal in the Cup semi-final. Whistle has gone. What's that for? The Manchester City goalkeeper wants to know, Karen Bardsley. Let's have a look.
Real threat from set pieces, Louise Quinn. Nothing really obvious there.
Stanway looking for Nadim. I don't think she'll win a sprint against Lisa Evans. Arsenal fullback, Scottish internationals. There's a little push there by Van der Donk, who was never going to win it against Jan Beattie in the air. Jennifer Beattie again. Stokes. Van der Donk. Back here to Janssen, Dutch European Championship winning teammate. And there's one of the stars of last summer, Medema. She's lost possession there.
She wasn't happy with that challenge from Nadim there. Miedema, she had a little bit of a dig back at her.
She found Jordan Nobbs, and that's a good little pass away towards Mead on that left-hand side. Nobbs picks up the running again. So competitive, so energetic. And here's Janssen. He played 20-odd minutes in the European Championship. She came on in the final. Mia Williamson. Consistent season from her, and Arsenal have really improved in the last half of the season until these two rather unaccountable performances against Birmingham and Chelsea last week. And similarly, Manchester City have had a very good season until recent Riddle-type performances. Ross.
Second ball, be first.
Is Little to Nobbs. Might have been fouled there. First time, she was second time by Abby McManus, who's been carrying an injury. McManus, she missed the midweek games, back today.
Just strengthens the back four of Manchester City a little bit. Esme Morgan, a young player, probably wouldn't have played as many minutes had McManus been fit and Lucy Bronze been still here. To stifle the development of young players, JP, by putting them into difficult situations or where they're struggling games. But you know, she's a good player with lots of potential, Morgan.
As Nobbs will shoot again. This time it's off target. She's willing to have a go from range, Jordan Nobbs.
Exactly the position you want to get Jordan Nobbs in. She'll always pop up in that gap, create a little bit of space for herself, and not afraid to have a pop from that far out. Not on target that time, but definitely seen people come and watch them here at Boreham Wood. Definitely see goals from her like that.
She's been around forever, Jordan Nobbs. In Arsenal for 8 years now. Watching 100 WSL games will be her next milestone. She's seen so many improvements in the women's game over the last few years, at club and international level. England vice captain Jennifer Beattie put under pressure by Nobbs, has pushed the ball out of play.
Jenny Beattie and Steph Horton will be comfortable this afternoon if Miedema doesn't work as hard as the likes of Beth England and the likes of Jordan Nobbs does. You've got to put them both under pressure and give them an easy ride at the back for Manchester City.
I think when Arsenal come down the right-hand side, they need Mead and Miedema to be together, and when they go down the left, they need Van der Donk to be in there with Miedema. It's not happened yet, really. Here's Nobbs. Looking then for Lisa Evans, who's come out with the ball. Nobbs. Van der Donk. Such quick feet, such a good player. Can get frustrated, can get a bit ill-tempered at times with that frustration. Not a good ball. Manchester City have a throw. Now football coming up your way. Playoff Boreham Wood against Tranmere. Boreham Wood the hosts here, of course. And down the road, BT Sports score tomorrow at 2:45. All the latest scorelines as the ball hits the back of the net from the last Premier League action. Roma against Juventus once again, bossing the Italian league. It looked iffy for such a long time, didn't it, this season? And then Tuesday, well, that could prove crucial. Bristol City women against Chelsea. If Manchester City lose this and Chelsea win later, that could be the night that the title is all but done and dusted. Cushing, the man doing the pointing there, the Manchester City coach. Was appointed after working in the club for 9 years in the development stage. It's 12 to 16 within the academy, A licence holder. Very good coach, very highly thought of. Evans, Medema. Look, it's hardly anyone near up, but there was a gap to find Little. Medema did well. Knobs back then towards Medema. Oh, and it's a good attempt at a pass into Little, who made the run in there. Scott. It's not that Arsenal haven't created chances, but Manchester City have the lead, and they really haven't created since taking the lead.
It's come into a bit of a lull game since the goal. But that was a clever bit of play. And then they ended up with Kim Little going to receive a clever pass from Miedema.
Mentioned beforehand that, you know, in my opinion, that you and Sue and Rachel and Alex Scott, pioneers of the women's game, it has changed enormously, even since World Cup 2015.
I mean, we're waiting for years and years and years for it to improve dramatically, and I think it's only the last few years that that's happened. It's such a good thing. Good young girls growing up thinking that they can make a career out of playing football in this country.
Away there by Emma Mitchell. One thing that I'd encourage all junior clubs to do is try and get women coaches qualified. And I'll give you the reason behind that in a moment. Here's Paris with the cross in and away by Dominic Janssen. Here's Scott down the right, cross to the far stick. Good sound keeping by Van Veenendaal. Fine cover by Walsh. So from my experience in running team at grassroots level, one of the problems we had, we couldn't get girls playing the game because they were reticent to work underneath a male coach, and it would have been easier had we been able to get at that young age.
It's role models, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
They've got fantastic role models in the WSL teams and in the England teams, and obviously the next step, or what the FA are looking at, is getting more women coaches in the game. Good women coaches about, and not only in the WSL, but the ones that are there are terrific, and it just gives the young girls someone to look up to, someone that they're comfortable with.
It's a poor throw from Arsenal's point of view, and it very nearly came to Nadim. Here's Paris, so full of pace and joy in the game. Good cross, Nadim header, just over. Arsenal didn't react really to get it away from the initial error.
Really stopping the cross after the error that came out wide. I mean, that should just be clear. Paris is quick onto it. And another really good ball. Full of confidence now, Nadim. She's got that goal. She gets herself in a position, she's one of the smallest players on the pitch, but only just over.
Does seem happier playing in this deeper role, coming in off the left-hand side. Paris coming in off the right. There's the run by Stanway. Edged away by Leah Williamson, and Arsenal will clear. Now him dropping back to win it again. Jennifer Beattie, no great pressure on her. And into Kira Walsh.
Very typical number 9, Nadim, focal point.
Paris in behind now here for Manchester City. And the cover was there by Louise Quinn. But they look dangerous when they come forward, don't they?
Yeah, they're doing that space there between the centre half and the right back. Got lots of pace out wide. Nikita Paris obviously has to burn just that second touch. Gave an opportunity for Quinn to clear it.
Corner kick then to Manchester City. It's their first corner of the game, I think it is.
The other commentators are supposed to list all these. They should be mathematically kept in your mind, JP.
Well, there you are. And it comes to the far stick. And Just missed in the air by Van Veenendaal.
It's not a bad ball at all. Across. Just needed to get someone just too far away. Steph Houghton at the far post.
Flashed on through. So as it stands, Manchester City will be top on goal difference. Look how tight that goal difference is, though. Chelsea play later in the day, let's not forget, against Sunderland. I mentioned there that Arsenal have had this run of games. Manchester City have had this run of games. This is their 10th in 48 days. It's Arsenal's 9th in that time. They did play Champions League, but they had the run in the FA Cup. Williamson and Veenendaal, they got a right mess there, the Arsenal defenders. She's unhappy with the back pass, and no wonder why.
Surprised she is. They just put themselves into danger there. I mean, your goalkeeper does not want to deal with that. You know, she really should probably take it with a left, but she don't want the ball in that situation. She puts her under pressure.
Walton up from the back, Beattie. In comes the corner, darting. That's a very, very important header away by Louise Quinn. Vital.
It's a good strike across. It's Georgia Stanway. She just drives it, and it's quite flat as it goes across the 6-yard box. Just needs someone to get on the end of it.
This is their 3rd corner now of the game. I'm the commentator, I know. Some height in there for Manchester City. Jill Scott, Jenny Beattie there. Steph Houghton, not the tallest, but dangerous in the air. McManus is there as well. It's in beyond Houghton. Keita Paris was coming in, Beattie. And that's over from Kira Walsh. Scored a WSL goal in her career.
Difficult technique that, coming out quite fast, and it's a layoff, but over it. Try and keep it down. The first time I've ever seen Kira Walsh be caught on the ball on Tuesday night as well. Liverpool did so well getting around her. Obviously something I'm sure Arsenal have looked at, because she's pivotal to what Manchester City do going forward, and in recovery as well. She keep getting caught on the ball.
And Veenendaal put under pressure again by a back pass. Manchester City have obviously done their homework. They're closing in on her quickly. Now Janssen, the way to Van der Donk, who's changed to that left-hand side. Mead coming in off the right. In comes across and away by Beattie, who's having a good game. Covered a position and finds Nikita Paris. She's got a terrific attitude to the game, Paris, I think. She personifies what is good about the women's game in England at the moment.
She's positive, she's direct, she always wants to go forward, run, and she gets everybody going as well. She's infectious when she plays, which helps with her teammates.
And as Phil Neville told me about all his England squad at the moment, she plays football for the right reasons. Here's Mead, who picks it up again here now for Arsenal and drives at Beattie, gets to her left foot, it's spun across the penalty area, very nearly came to Van der Donk at the far stick, but Manchester City get it away. They looked a little bit vulnerable there, though, to a runner going at them directly. McManus away to Ross, who's pulled out to that right-hand side. But unlucky, maybe, not to feature in the Champions League semi-finals.
Yeah, she's a goal scorer, you see, and that's the thing, is when you're picking your team, they've got both Nadim and Ross playing, which is actually working for them. 2 goal scorers in there, but she gets herself in good position. She works really, really hard as well.
Not Claire Emsley on the bench who can come on. Now Lawley with her frightening pace. I do think they've missed Tony Duggan this season. Here's Houghton. Just past the 100 games mark for the club, Houghton. Dropped it down the throat there of Emma Mitchell, and Arsenal can get it away. Here is the fullback from Buckhaven in Scotland. There's Kim Little from Aberdeen in Scotland. And Lisa Evans from Perth in Scotland. And now Mead, who's not Scottish. Looking in for Medina.
See here, great play. I mean, she's played really well. I think Beth Mead, she had a chance before where she cut through down this right-hand side and along the byline, and real positive performances in the last few performances from her. She's always was a goal scorer, but she's just added that extra little bit to her game as well. Really good player.
I think Medema is running on empty, really. She had the physical and emotional pressure of playing as a host for the Dutch side last summer. He won that competition. First season in English football after doing so well at Bayern. She's had her injury problems of late as well. There'll be more to come from her next season. She's only 21.
Terrific player. Proper number 9. It's just at the moment, I think you're right. She's got people running past her to get to the ball, and it's obviously some sort of fatigue.
Nadim. Posed. Finds Sammy McManus. Good challenge on it by Van der Donk. Emma Mitchell tried to bring it forward. That's a really good challenge there. She's a feisty, competitive international as well.
It's incredibly hard to get back and make that challenge. As she's running back with McManus, they were pulling each other's shirts. So they're quick. Just knocks the ball back, ready for Mitchell to go forward, and then a bit of afters after that as well, but there always is with Van der Donk.
Lovely comments in the programme last week, the cup final programme. There was a meet the squad section. Leah Williamson describing her teammates in that section, and she said Van der Donk, the picture of innocence, but she likes a good joke and a bit of fun. She did a press conference ahead of the England-Holland game last summer, and when asked about beating some of her club mates, she wasn't at all bothered. Not at all bothered.
Yeah, such a good thing going on the Dutch last summer, though. It was like they weren't going to be beaten by anybody.
Jansen did well there. And here's Evans. Williamson. Into England senior squad in the this current season against Kazakhstan, I think it was. Here's Nikita Parris, a regular, of course, in that team. Big game coming up against Russia. And she brings in Jill Scott. Now Horton. In the corner from Walsh. Not much between the teams until I think you get to the final third, where Manchester City looks sharper.
Yeah, they do. They start the game off much better, high intensity. Harris is one of them players, and back on song, he'll be probably happy with this start to this half. Got the goal, but got themselves in front.
Still behind, they've only lost 5 times in 27 games this season. And they're playing here then towards the fullback Evans. Just blocked off as she went in that penalty. It was a good defensive covering run by Walsh. She's back there again. Here's Beattie under pressure. Recent minutes, Manchester City have been playing the ball around inside their penalty area, very, very deep, and Arsenal have been pressing high.
Just put the ball at risk. When you do that, you've got to make sure that you are going to get it out, especially when you're only 1-0 up. And any sort of mistake, level the game up.
It's a hefty challenge by Little. It's left Walsh on the ground. Team 1-0 down. Arsenal have only conceded more than a single goal twice in the last 14. They have been greatly improved. They conceded 18 in the opening 12 games of the WSL season, but only 9 in 15 in all competitions since.
Get around it!
And certainly back his team to score today. They've scored in 12 of their last 14 after all.
Stay there.
That's a good ball up to Van der Donk. She's crept in behind Beattie. She sets up for Medema. No power behind the shot. Big chance that.
Van der Donk forced that pass. What a terrific pass it was from Kim Little. Got a touch to it and then managed to get it off to Miedema, but no real power on there. Not particularly started the game well, Miedema. Pretty lethargic. And they just need a bit more out of it when they're going forward, Arsenal.
Little drives forward for Arsenal here now. Thinks about a shot, gets a shot away, straight at Bardsley. Better from Arsenal in the last couple of minutes.
Again, winning the ball further up the pitch. Just good shot by Kim Little, straight at Karen Barzi. Easy enough for her to deal with.
The current manager of Arsenal, I have to take this opportunity though, I think from everyone who knows women's football, to say a big thanks to Vic Akers, who formed Arsenal Women and was the manager 22 years and is retiring. 33 major trophies for Vic Akers, and he's leaving the club just as Arsene Wenger is leaving the club as well, and Alex Scott and Pem Edazaka too, although he's staying on as a coach. But well for Vic there. Here's Little. Jordan Nobbs tried to spin it, very well read by Steph Horton, who took a knock as well. Good defending that.
Whenever I think of Arsenal, whenever I played against Arsenal, Vic was always the manager, and he's just a winner. He got this team to where it got in terms of the height of women's football. Took over from Doncaster Bells all those years ago to be the dominant force, and a lot of it down to him.
I think Alex Scott will be the first to acknowledge he gives players chances. He's sensible with his management of them. When she left to go to Birmingham first, he encouraged her because he thought she would learn from it, which she did. Changed the position there, then she went out to Boston Breakers, and again he was full of encouragement because he knew she'd learn. He's a good football man, is Mr. Akers. That's a poor clearance out by Manchester City goalkeeper Karen Barsley, but seemed to have got away with it. And here's Demi Stokes.
In terms of surfaces, this is a really good surface, this that Arsenal play on. It's made for passing the ball, probably the best one in WSL, arguably.
They're doing so well. Boreham Wood men's team. Big playoff final. I do hope, as I've said many times before, on record, that when Wembley Stadium changes hands, which it now seems likely to, that it still plays hosts to fans not just of the Manchester Cities and the Arsenals and so on, the big clubs, but that the playoff finals, the minor finals, the Vasa Trophy, etc., still played there. It's given away by Arsenal again. Poor throw into the heart of midfield from that position. Here's Stanway. In the end, there's no power or pace on the shot. It was a grubber that Daisy cut. It went wide, but it's an unwise throw in from that position into there.
Just mistakes to get Manchester City on the ball. She'd done the hard bit. She'd taken on 3 players, got herself in a position for a shot.
Very good season as Georgia Stanway. And under 17 international. Really another mistake there. Here comes Nobbs, fine run from her. Will she have a shot at the end of it? She does, across Bardsley, who made a fine save again. Twice she has denied her England teammates.
An excellent goalkeeping again, but Jordan Nobbs, she was thinking, well, shall I pass it, shall I pass it? Well, they're standing off me, I'll have a go. And you don't leave someone like her in front of goal in the free shot, and just in the end, Kira Walsh nudges her, but Karen Barsley again makes an excellent save.
She looks in fine form. She's kept 7 clean sheets in her last 10 games. She had the injury problem picked up with England, she believes, cut. She's recently back in the side. Looks in tip-top form. Interested to hear what Rachel thinks about it at half-time. In comes across, and she's under pressure there, real pressure. And she's dealt with it well. Got a bit of a clonk there, I think.
She's got a couple of punches now, which she's got clean from a corner. It's always difficult for a goalkeeper, particularly when they choose to punch and under pressure, probably from her own player there, Jenny Beattie as well. She's done well enough, confident enough to go for it.
And Rachel Finnish will be giving her thoughts at half-time, because she's a former England goalkeeper herself.
Forward, face forward, face forward!
Come on, 7!
Here's Van der Donk. Janssen. The step overs. Another corner kick.
play with. Combined a couple of times now. Kim Little and Van der Donk, both clever players, quick touches, movement.
Williamson up from the back. Knobs with the corner kick. Williamson pressurising Bardsley. Decent header away at the near post it was. Jill Scott back there doing an essential job. Paris stopped in the tracks. Very good challenge by Kim Little. Needed to win that and he did.
It's no problem with playing against Manchester City. Set piece and you push all your players up. They will break with pace. And the minimum amount of passes as well.
Isn't football cruel that she should play so well for Scotland for so many years, Kim Little, and then miss out last summer?
I worked with her in the summer on the other side of the camera, off the pitch, and she was gutted, but she was quite pragmatic about it. But what a player to miss a big tournament like that. You want the best players in the world playing in tournaments like that, and she definitely was one of them before her injury, and you know, she's getting back to that level now.
And the Donk. Here's Little. Janssen. Good build up here by Arsenal, the closing stages of the first half. Important time to get an equaliser. Wouldn't come in then towards me. Demi Stokes has picked up a little bit of a knock. She's hobbling. There's Kim Little. Scottish international on 123 occasions, but not last summer, courtesy of that knee ligament injury she picked up in, well, a year ago, I think it was, this month. It's off time, offside against the Paris.
Paris can give a defender a yard and still get past them.
Stokes seemed to pick up a little bit of an injury a moment ago. She's not running freely. That's onside. Oh no, late flag. Caught Jordan, very late flag, but she's applauds the pass over the top.
Full of energy, going beyond the strikers. Which is what she normally does, makes those runs. See there, she just stopped, I think, by the time the assistant referee had seen her, she was offside.
Only failed to score in the 0-0 draw at Yeovil in April, and the defeat at Birmingham some 8 days later back at Reading in January. They failed to score as well. Adema looking for Little. It wasn't a good touch by the Dutch striker, who once again has struggled to impose herself on the match.
Just need a little bit more from her. I think the manager will probably say that to her at half-time.
Mead looking for Evans, run out of play. Also do have Dan Carter on the bench as an attacking option. A couple of youngsters there, Jessica Ngunga and Shannon Cook, amongst the substitutes. Carter there, and Katie McCabe. There's Alex Scott. I think she will make some sort of an appearance. You'd have thought so in the last ever game. Last minute of the half.
Focus, concentrate.
Towards me. Well, she got a little knock there. The referee was quite right. Demi Stokes got too tight to her.
Nasty ones, those. Not real intention from Demi Stokes. Just tried to nick the ball from behind. Saw one.
Real old-fashioned challenge from a defender when the forward tracks back to the halfway line. Used to see it so many times. Centre-backs in particular, Arsenal centre-backs, I seem to remember, in particular, got ploughing through players. There's the old tackle from behind being legal. Goodness me, imagine that now. Quite right that it was.
You used to get one or two free, didn't you? The centre halves used to have one free for the from the referee. It didn't happen nowadays.
That's right. They used to say that, no, that's the free one. Here's Jill Scott. The half-time whistle blows. Your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, I think it was pretty even. Man City got themselves in front, both had chances, but I think the intensity that Manchester City have played up through the majority of the half means that they get themselves on top, but Arsenal have had chances.
Jordan Nobbs in particular, foiled by Karen Bardsley, her England teammate, and Manchester City lead it with a Nadim goal in the opening 10 minutes. 1-0 at the break. Thanks very much. The Arsenal mascot has been captivating the younger members of the crowd here today at Boreham Wood, where Arsenal do have to come from behind to beat that Manchester City side. What has he been saying to his team at half-time? Manchester City, 4 defeats since mid-February in the league, but they have lost just 4 in 49. So you see how consistent they've been over the last couple of seasons. Until recent weeks, certainly that FA Cup semi-final defeat by Chelsea seemed to have knocked them badly there. Got up to the best start here though. It's very, very close, and crucially it was a goalkeeper error, not by her. She's been brilliant in the first half, saving Manchester City twice. Arsenal get us off and underway in the second half in the red and white. And Manchester City defending the goal away to your left then in the sky blue. Yes, crucially it was that Van Veenendaal slip that led to the goal. Manchester City looked for a second straight away. Here's Paris, got in behind Mitchell. Tries to close on Jill Scott and then close on Stanway. Got there late and has conceded a free kick. She was always stretching there, always stretching.
Yeah, Emma Mitchell, I think she's injured herself in that challenge on Georgia Stanway as well. Referee took a while to decide, but just as soon as you start to do that, you risk making that foul. It's a good position for Manchester City to be in as well. And she jumped as well. Georgia Stanway said, really connect.
She got something in the ball there, didn't she?
She did get, yeah, but I think when you take well, it's not even a free kick.
Well, that's strange because Rebecca Welsh, the referee, certainly blew. And in the end, she blew just to make sure that Emma Mitchell was okay. And Arsenal now on the ball, and the referee's blown this time when Arsenal seem to have the advantage. It's gone the other way. A couple of strange ones there. Anyway, here's Jem Beattie. To Nadim, the goal scorer. Steph Horton has had a good game, as has Jennifer Beattie alongside her. Nadia McMahon's very, very familiar back four for Manchester City. It changed in the week when young Morgan came in and played the right back position. Walsh. There's Georgia Stanway. Demi Stokes. You're hoping to go with England to the World Cup next summer.
She's not happy though, JP. She's still struggling. She seems to be limping a little bit.
That was from that first half injury, wasn't it? Here's Stanway with a direct run, left to right. It's done well. Too easily past Janssen, and then too much weight on the pass. Prowse has had to veer out wide to the right. Van Veenendaal mix up with the defender. Just a lack of communication between the Dutch goalkeeper and Louise Quinn. Key areas, Manchester City have looked the better team, but Arsenal here on the attack. Manchester City defending very narrow. That offers a space on the right-hand side here. Beth Mead, City getting defenders back into the middle, but not quickly. Mead in the end plays a percentage. Demi Stokes is really in pain. She jarred her foot in the first half, I think blocking a cross ball in, and she's signalled to the bench there.
She's been struggling for the last part of the first half and definitely the start of this second half, and Beth Mead, the last person you want running at you when you're not quite 100%.
And I think she's going to have to be changed, and indeed she will be. The substitute, Mia Leith Jans, ready to come on. Danish international. He signed last summer from Brøndby. And he won the league title there 3 times.
You're going to be confused now when she comes on, because she looks quite like Steph Horton when she's on the pitch.
Manchester City forced into the substitution. They're defending with 10 at the moment. This corner kick, in it comes. Barnsley again, another positive punch. He's been the more positive goalkeeper. Van Veenendaal, for me, seems to have been upset by that slip and the mistake for the goal. Here comes the change then. It's fullback for fullback. Jordan Nobbs with the corner for Arsenal. And Mitchell's up from the back to attack the near post, and she goes, but it can't get beyond the first defender, who is Nikita Parris. Lisa Evans is little. Janssen. Dutch compatriot Medima's come wide to the left. There's the lack of sharpness about her, though. In comes the cross. Beattie can deal with it. Away towards Mead, who punched the shot. Unlucky.
A good control and finish. Beth Mead, it comes to her on the edge of the area. Searching cross, not really cleared by Jen Beattie, but that could have sneaked in on that corner. Enough for Karen Bowsy to be suitably concerned about it.
Little deflection on Flavia McManus, I think it was. Is a corner kick then 5 minutes into the second half. Another corner kick for Arsenal. The drum's gone quiet to our left-hand side.
Don't tempt it.
Banging away all day. And it comes away by Jill Scott. Cleared by Jane Ross, who sets up a possible counter. But Nikita Parris left the ball behind her. Now, Van der Donk. Quinn. Brought out positivity by Leah Williamson. That's a decent ball away to Jordan Nobbs, who's been Arsenal's best player. As we heard about in the half-time analysis, he's given it away there, though. Jans with the block challenge, the interception. That's given straight back to Jordan Nobbs, who run at Jennifer Beattie. Brilliant run, Van der Donk! Lovely equaliser! Manchester City gifted it to them in one way, but the crisp finish by Van der Donk was deserving of a goal. 1-1.
All about the tenacity and drive of Jordan Nobbs, this goal. And it's a terrific finish from Van der Donk in the end. She goes to celebrate with Alex Scott, which is a nice touch, but first of all, she peeled her off on the left side and just messing about with it in the middle. See, she's onto it. Not a good pass to Jenny Beattie, and then unselfishly lays it off to Danielle Van der Donk, and it's a good finish, but it's just unnecessary. I think it was Georgia Stanway that gave the ball away in the end, and not saving that.
Fourth of the campaign for Van der Donk. Finished beautifully, curling inside the post. And that was a lovely celebration with Alex Scott. Medema. Done up well under pressure from Steph Horton. Drummer stopped again. You know when you've had one of the... Oh, picks up again with the drum beat. You know when you've had one of those Friday nights when you regret it Saturday morning. I need painkillers, not a drum beat. Here's a goal kick. Mistake by Georgia Stanway for the goal.
You can't do that when Jordan Nobbs is about. She wins the ball quickly. And that's a nice touch with Alex Scott.
Two bright and bubbly characters. And he'll be a happier man now. He's transformed the squad's confidence levels in the last few months, and that goal could have been the final nail in the coffin for Manchester City's title tilt. And it could get worse. Here's Mead. When you think Manchester City haven't had an effort on target since they scored, the goal in many ways was deserved by Arsenal. Little.
Slowly worked themselves back into the game. They got some chances in the first half. It started the second half off well, but Manchester City will rule that mistake. Just need to be better, make those passes and make sure they count.
Come on, Nadia, come on.
And his team, he left ruining that Arsenal equaliser. Chelsea play later on in the day, of course, at home to Sunderland. And you can see there how important that goal could prove. Manchester City will be a couple of points behind them. It's a good interception by Emma Mitchell. Don't forget, Arsenal not out of the title race. They need to win all their games and hope the top two blow up. Little. It's an Arsenal side at the moment. Plenty of belief. And that's a good ball by Janssen. Really fine pass to Mitchell. Left foot, bang the crossing. Jen Beattie heads it straight away to Mead. Redeemer's there with her in support. Was allowed to come onto it. Here's Nobbs, the dummy. Little hits it. And just a little nick took it wide by a fraction. Good build-up by Arsenal, but Manchester City's defence there was leaden-legged.
Such a clever bit of play by Jordan Nobbs. Just wide from Kim Little. I mean, I think the intricate play between all those forward players, they're really getting in the stride now, Arsenal.
Heath Jans, the substitute, just got it away. So close. Played in short, too little. Cross looks for Quinn coming up. And scrambled away by Jane Ross. Haven't seen a sniff of a chance for her at the other end. She's a goal-getter. Arsenal have created in the game far more chances than Manchester City, who in the first half an hour are the more accomplished side, but have not pushed on from that lead. Rain splattered coat. Pensive look. Redeemer. Little back heel. Jordan Nobbs quickly onto it. Cross was blocked by Steph Horton.
Terrific into play. Need him out. Nobbs.
Redeemer. Little. Little. Scott. Horton. Both sides have a tendency to play it very deep inside their own penalty area, knock it around. Here's Nadim. Seen anything of her in the second half. Scott. Walsh. Away towards Jennifer Beattie. Cut out by Lisa Evans.
Whether Manchester City are a little bit brittle confidence-wise. They've had a few big hits over the last few weeks out of certain competitions, big competitions, and so lost the way midweek. That goal looks to hurt them.
Here's Fanfina now. Mitchell to Van der Donk. Quinn, no great pressure over there. Scott, pressurised by Janssen in comparison, but still gets the ball into the box. Took a stooped header by Williamson, scrambled away. Manchester City squeezing it on again. Jans with the throw. Away by Quinn. There's Kim Little again. Did over 100 games for the club in her 2 spells. Hugely experienced. That experience will be vital now. Heath Jans with the crossing, looking for Paris. And the header goes wide. And the rain comes down, although And noticed under the umbrellas at half-time, Sue Smith had no socks on. My grandmother would be appalled. No socks in weather like this.
It is summer though, Jonathan. You see, you're sounding like you're an old man there. Sorry. But I've got no socks on, and my ankles are freezing as well.
No socks? What are you doing? This is summer.
All right, Grandad.
Oh dear. Got my vest on and everything. Too much knowledge, perhaps. Anyway. It'll be a throw to be taken by Lisa Evans. Very important 5 minutes or so in the game here now. Rumfleet gets more frantic. Walsh looks for Paris. Lovely run that coming off the right-hand side.
So whatever happens in games, you've always got Nikita Parris. She will chase a lost cause. She'll try and win her header that she's no chance of winning, but she manages to get herself there. Chasing by her, and she's able to drag her team back into it.
No foul, no foul. You heard the cry there. Just got to the dead ball line, shepherded by Leah Williamson. That's going to be a goal kick. That's decent defending. She's quite local to here, actually. Comes from just up the road at Milton Keynes. She's 21. She's a real prospect. Played a lot of times for Arsenal. Joined the club at 9. That's a foul by Stanway on Van der Donk. It's going to be a yellow card, I think.
Maybe a little bit between those two during this game. Just give her an opportunity, Stanway, then to take Van der Donk out on the halfway line. She wasn't going to catch it at that stage.
Tenacious player, Georgia Stanway. Here's Mitchell. Medina again pulling away to the left-hand side, so who's gone through the middle? It's a problem for Arsenal when she does come out to either flank. She likes to do that. There's no one making the run through. I guess Kim Little would be earmarked out. Beth Mead coming in off the far side.
Yeah, she's best if you get her in that number 9 position and then you work from her.
I think you want her coming out wide to the left, do you, or to the either flank? You want her in that position on the shoulder of the centre-backs. Here comes Kim Little now for Arsenal, driving into the space ahead of her, looking for Medina. Will it come here to Beth Mead? It does, and it's 2-1 Arsenal! Arsenal could be just in the title race again. Manchester City's title dream could be ending here and now.
Again, brilliant move, and Beth Mead, she deserves that. She's done really well down that right-hand side. He will not be happy with the way that his team started this second half. Arsenal have completely turned this game around. Picked up in the middle by Kim Little. Couldn't get to it, Miedema, but it came. And the thing about Beth Mead is she can finish, Jonathan. Even at that sort of tight angle, it comes to her. She practiced that all the time. Good goalkeepers we've seen in Karen Barsley. Just enough power to get past her. Great finish.
Alex Scott celebrating. And another embrace from a teammate on Alex's last day. Just wonder there whether Demi Stokes would have covered in that position. Abby McManus has gone across from right fullback to left fullback with the injury to Stokes. Leith Jans has come on the right-hand side.
I caught a little bit ball watching, but you know, you've got to give credit to Arsenal, the way that they've gone forward in this second half, start of this second half.
It would be 5 defeats in 8. 7 in their last 14 games after a 21-match unbeaten spell. And Arsenal here are rampant. Played back towards Medina. Again went for a side-foot finish, and there's no power behind it.
It's just mistakes. And both teams really leading to goals. But just the pure tenacity of Jordan Nobbs. She always wants the ball. And just could not get the ball back. Sorry, Stanway couldn't get the ball back, but no real power from Miedema as it came across to her. You would expect her to do better, but we've said that all afternoon so far.
Here's Paris. Manchester City really need to show courage and commitment now.
Keep the line! Keep!
Otherwise they could be handing Chelsea the title on the plate. let's not forget Arsenal are still in there. Jans with the cross in and taken away by Quinn. Here's Van der Donk. Throw here then to Manchester City. Van der Donk claims it was a foul throw. She will appeal for most things, to be honest. I'm sure she'd be unhappy if the coin toss by her captain at the start of the game came down tails and she wanted it heads.
Let's start an argument in an empty room, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Great player, though.
There's a mischief about her, and there's a great quality about her as well, as we saw last summer.
Good talent to have on your team.
Well, look at the top six as it stands now. Arsenal, yes, they'd need a miracle, but they'd still be in there. And they'd need Chelsea to blow up. He said they wanted to finish the season strongly. More significantly, they'd be a point behind Manchester City in the chase for a Champions League place. Top two qualifying.
They're kicking themselves as well. I mean, they've lost against Birmingham, who have done really well, but they drew against Yeovil. Those sort of drop points.
There's Paris, though, for Manchester City. Looking for the run of Ross, and it's straight through, but she's offside. Manchester City's final games at home to Yeovil and Everton. Yeovil bottom of the table. What we've seen, as you just said, they took a point off Arsenal recently. Manchester City, having reached the Champions League semi-finals and acquitted themselves well against the best women's team on the planet, Lille. In danger of missing out. There's Knobs. She's been at the heart of everything. She's been outstanding. Mead comes across to Medina, and it came off Beattie and away by Horton, out by Stanway. One or two of the Manchester City players do now look very leggy.
I think it's mentally more than anything. Being knocked out and doing really well in the Champions League, but being knocked out, same in the FA Cup, sort of league falling away from you. They do look a little bit fragile in terms of the reaction when the momentum changes to the opposition within games, particularly the last couple of games.
To have lost at home to Reading, suddenly the doubts came in. Then they had their semi-final defeat by Chelsea. Then within 3 games, they got out of the Champions League back-to-back. All those setbacks have had a draining effect on them mentally. It's okay when you won an up away at Arsenal, but suddenly when you're behind, it's a different matter.
And in the past, it's been part of the steel. They had that steel about them.
People have asked the question, I was one of them actually, why hasn't Jane Ross had starts in recent games, but she's been a peripheral character here today. And though there have been goals, plenty from Nikita Paris, 14, and Christensen, 14. Jane herself has 9. Maybe they need a prolific centre-forward goal scorer next season, but they do have a corner kick here now. Arsenal's defending was not accomplished there, that's for sure. Stanley will take the corner kick, and it comes through, looking for Nadia Nadim. Headed over. Had that header in the first half gone in, that would have put them 2-0 up, and I think they'd have been home and hosed in those early exchanges.
Yeah, the confidence would have been there, as it was when they scored the first goal, but they've just got to keep going.
Manchester City making a change, and it's going to be now Lawley who comes on. Poor Jane Ross will be bitterly disappointed. He's waited for this opportunity. Now Lawley has had to be patient this season. She's had plenty of games from the bench. Started more games in recent weeks. Here she comes now to have an impact.
She had a slight injury as well. That's not helped, because she actually was flying at points. Good player, improved a lot since she's moved to Manchester City.
It's a thudding challenge. Horton. Beattie. Malice. What a good ball in. McManus doesn't seem as comfortable on the left-hand side. Let's have a free kick here now. Lisa Evans there going to take this free kick for Joe Montemuro's side. It was a day when English-Scottish players in her case had to go abroad to get it. She was at Turbine Polestar. But now it's the world's best players coming to England, like Van der Donk, Medema.
It's really raised the profile of the WSL, raise the level of it. Increases the ability and the performance levels of the Scottish English girls.
Towards Knops, back to Little. People have said to me in recent weeks, well, it can't be as high a level as the French and German league, because look, it's Wolfsburg and Lyon through to the Champions League final, but it's a far more competitive league than the French and German leagues throughout the division.
Look at the performances from Birmingham and Reading this year. Liverpool getting good results, and you get those teams competing with the likes of Man City and Chelsea and competitive league.
She's got away with that, Steph Horton, didn't she? But she comes away with it now. Big diagonal, attempted, looking for Lawley. Just caught in a slight breeze and the pass was dragged. Little. A good second half, Kim Little. It's a foul by Jordan Knops.
Such a clever player, Kim Little. She knows exactly where she needs to be. She gets herself in good positions, and the way she uses the ball, technically excellent.
Chelsea played her very well last week in the cup final. She had to play between the object, I think, was her playing between the lines. Chelsea dealt with that very, very well. Stanway comes to Scott, Nikita Paris, back to the far stick. That's a good ball in the end as it comes away through to Lawley. Not too sure if it was attempted to find, or intended to find Lawley. Now, anyway, Arsenal. Knobbs and Medema will have to go something to keep that in play, and she does. And got up quickly. She answered the challenge, but Medema, things aren't going well for her in terms of in front of goal today, but she's worked hard to get back there then. Managers appreciate that. Rain's getting heavier. What's forecast for this weekend?
It's always sunny down south.
Oh, we had
Sunny in Leeds today.
Unbelievable week.
It's no good to me, Jonathan.
Good. That's better, go.
One of the top looking for Nadim, who may just have caught Van Veenendaal as she slid out.
Apart from that first goal, Van Veenendaal, one of her strengths is going out and collecting, being that extra defender in behind like the sweeper.
It's been a lovely week down here. Just my swimming trunks on in the garden, no t-shirt. Too much knowledge? Too much information?
Yeah.
Oh. Why are you reaching for that bucket?
Just having my lunch.
Here's Little. Knops. Touchdown the line. It's a good move by Arsenal. Again, it's come to the far post. Van der Donk. Now that might come back and bite them. A big chance.
Real waste that. Moving down that right-hand side, and what a ball this is. It beats them on because of the surface is slippy. It bounced past both Jans and Steph Horton, but probably a waste there from Van der Donk. She could have put a little bit more concentration into what she was going to do and would have been out of sight then, Arsenal.
Leaning back as she hit it, and over it went. Now Horton. Very good ball away to Lawley. Walsh had a quiet second half. McManus is Jill Scott. Seemed to find the pockets of space to drive into in the game. Over the years has been so effective coming from deep positions and finding those spaces. By Lithians. So to be patient, the Danish defender this year, only her 9th appearance. 5 starts. Today at 2:30, Bournemouth against Tranmere, playoff final, replacing the 3rd tier of English football, or 4th tier I should say. BT Sport score tomorrow, concentrating on the Premier League final day. Who's going to make Champions League, who's going to go down. Roma against Juventus tomorrow at 7:30. And on 1XG and 4K UHD, Tuesday 6:45, Bristol City against Chelsea. Oh, it could be the title. It could be the title clincher, you know. Manchester City went to Bristol recently and hit them for 6. It's been a testing season for West Country women's football. Bristol City have been on a sort of competitive level with Sunderland and Everton. The Oval have been outclassed at this level. Cushing's Manchester City, one of the teams given genuine backing, which is so important. Arsenal and other ones, they've always backed women's football. Good run by Jordan Nobbs. She's forced the corner. She got a jarring knock as she did so. That'll be painful. She's been the best player on the pitch, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has, and back in a more familiar position. To work at that high intensity. I think what she did was she kicked the bottom of Steph Horton's boot, and that hurts. These modern boots, not particularly that thick, and feel everything like that. She'll probably walk that off, but it's a sore one.
Quite a reaction on social media for my comment about the swimming trunks and you needing the bucket. I'm not surprised, says one of them. Actually, I'm a bit surprised that one's come from my wife. Damaging. And it comes to the far stick. Good punch away by Bardsley. Medema. Back in by Mead and out by Jem Beattie. Now Jordan Nobbs again, tidying up under pressure from Paris. Across to the far post, looking for the height of Medema. Good defending there. Really important defending by Nadim. Very diligent work. Back in by Mead again. This time Horton reacts. Lovely back heel by Van der Donk and over by Medema. What a chance that was.
The work there from Daniel Van der Donk. Doing really well in terms of like the passing and the movement in the penalty area. Ball comes across from Beth Mead. Little knockdown, it's not offside. That's Van der Donk. She could finish that, hasn't she? Miedema. It is a top quality, world-class centre forward. Probably want that on target.
That's a terrible miss, isn't it, from there? But they just moved Manchester City all around the place there. Cross from the right, cross from the left, back in it came. That sequence of play. Not allowing the defenders to get set.
They've done that most of this half. So I think that, you know, they've sort of clicked into a rhythm with each other, and it's worked really well.
Played really well, Arsenal, but it was a poor miss by a player of her quality. Izzy Christensen's going to come on. A good player she is. She was shortlisted for the first ever FWA award for Women's Football of the Year. She replaces their goal scorer. Another development for the women's game that the Football Writers Association is acknowledging the best players. Nadia Nadim, goal in the first half, put them ahead. And Fran Kirby, who won the award, actually spoke very well on Thursday night at the awards ceremony. Another step forward, isn't it?
It is, and you know, it's been a long time coming, but it's not to say it's got to recognise how well they've done to put the award in there. These women are at the top of their game, they should be recognised for it.
Medema on the outside of Lithians. A little slip. Gives Medema the yard, but she couldn't get a decent cross it. And Carter's going to come on for Arsenal. Arsenal. Striker. Stanway. The pass was aimed at Malawli. Jans has kept it in. Only shown too much of it to Littles, and a fine game for Arsenal. Here's Van der Donk. Pressurised by Jill Scott, drew the foul. I don't think this is surprising. Medema goes off and on comes Dan Carter.
Yeah, she does look, I'd say, fatigued. She hasn't run about as much as the rest of the players, like a Jordan Nobbs, and something you will get from Dan Carter when she does come on is that she will chase down defenders, make it even harder for Horton and Beattie.
Number 9, Danielle Carter.
Best is still to come, I think, from Medema in an Arsenal shirt. She's got 138 goals in 165 career games. Pedigree scorer. On comes Dan Carter. And here comes Christensen from Manchester City. It was another Arsenal mistake. Harris. And now Scott. Jans. Very poor pass.
A few mistakes in this game will lead into goals, and Arsenal nearly just made a chance on the plate for Manchester City with their own free kick, but recovered from it. See, you know it is now, Jonathan, making all that noise with the drum. I'll let you go. Tell them off.
They travel everywhere with Manchester City.
That's great.
Great support. That's a lovely ball by Walsh. Here's Lawley. They got him behind Arsenal here. In comes a cross. Oh, what a chance! Izzy Christensen. You've absolutely banked on her scoring there.
Tell you what, she reached some height there. Christensen, the only thing she couldn't do was get the ball on target. It's a great move. And Lawley just lays the ball in the air, and she's one of the smallest players on the pitch, and she just could not turn that head around on target.
She's only, what, 5'5", 5'6", she rose so high in there.
Chance.
There's Little. Again, that's chancy defending. Arsenal have no need to get themselves into this pickle. But all of a sudden, Manchester City have picked it up again, and they seem to have renewed confidence. Not a good ball by McManus. I think it's fair to say that Manchester City have 8.5 minutes to rescue their title campaign, because though Arsenal, as we've said before, mathematically certainly not out of it, this gives Chelsea a huge advantage.
Just a... Oh, yeah, she just caught Beth Mead. Just bent Steph Horton's knee in a way she probably wouldn't have wanted. She just felt that little bit. Hopefully she's up and jogging.
Manchester City could only pick up at this stage like this a possible 38 points this season. Chelsea would reach that target with a victory against Sunderland later. Did she get a call to just leave it there? Maybe she did. Fine season she's had. England international now, those 2 cameo roles against Wales and Bosnia.
She's gone to the next level now, coming to Arsenal, getting game time, which is really important. Improving herself, still being a goal scorer, just adds a little bit more to her game. A real threat.
Comes a free kick aimed at Quinn, just knocked her ankle there, and Manchester City are unhappy that the referee stopped this, and I can understand why. I think she just turned her ankle as she went over, and City were breaking away. There, look at the significance of this. Arsenal will be a point within Manchester City. Suddenly that chase for Champions League, the Champions League second place, would be very much alive. But a win for Chelsea against Sunderland later would surely take the title away from him.
Now, you know the laws of the game better than me, and I don't think a referee is supposed to stop just for a head injury.
Yeah, I don't think there's any need for her. You could see by the way she landed, she just went over on her ankle, but I don't think it was... It didn't look serious enough to warrant a stop. And Arsenal taking their time. The referee now allowing Manchester City to go on when Quinn's high up the pitch. Horton. Lawley round the corner. Christensen. Good movement by Jill Scott to the right. Just too much weight on the pass on a skiddy top surface. There's an urgency about them now.
They've got to go for it. Last 5 minutes or so. And they know that if they don't win this game, then they've basically handed the title to Chelsea without them kicking a ball today. I can't see Chelsea slipping up, to be honest, in the next couple of games, but we'll see.
They haven't had enough on target, have they, since the goal? Here's Scott. And Lawley. Well balanced to get a good cross into the far stick. Paris is there. Anywhere but there from Nikita Paris, straight at the goalkeeper. And she had Izzy Christensen up in support.
She's a real shining light, Nikita Paris. She just couldn't neither here nor there in terms of getting the ball back across to Christensen or going for goal.
Well, that is the first real save she's had to make since the 11th minute. Here's Carter now for Arsenal. They've worked the space as well. Here's Mead. Just an extra spring in there, step in the second half. Little. She's been the glue that has stuck the side together today.
She's played well, I think. Back to her best.
Suddenly, you know, there was such a joyous exuberance about Manchester City faces weeks ago. There's a haunted look creeping into one or two eyes. Short corner to Little. And Barty makes a save. And away by Evans. Stanley's first to it. Here's Paris. If in the last 3 or 4 minutes Manchester City will stick Jill Scott up top.
To do something, Jonathan. They have to get themselves back in this game.
Go, 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 go.
It'll certainly be out of their hands if it stays like this. And they will have the worry that Arsenal are the more buoyant side going for that second Champions League place. They've invested heavily in women's football. They've invested heavily in their squad, Manchester City. And for a team with that investment and that setup, wonderful training setup in the stadium in which they play, it'd be almost unthinkable for them to miss out on Champions League football.
Well, that's the risk over the next couple of games, is that they end up where the second place is taken up by a team with the momentum with them. They can't dwell on results that have happened if this result stays the same.
Heather O'Reilly's going to come on for Arsenal, I think, for the closing minutes, although she's just put her top back on. She's not ready to come on. She's to put her orange top back on. I wonder if Alex Scott will be making an appearance. Here's Quinn and Mitchell. No time for sympathy here, sympathetic gestures though when you have Champions League football to play in. And Veenendaal looked a little bit jittery at times today. Had a brilliant European Championship. Long time ago now though. Beattie. And Carter under a little bit of pressure, so she has to go back to Bartley, who's playing very well for Manchester City. Under 2 minutes to go. Just wouldn't have seen this happening a few weeks ago. 5 defeats in 8. failed to score in 8 of their 34 games this season before that, but all of those have come in the last 17. 5 blanks in 7. Goals have been hard to come by. The fluency is gone. Carter and the dunk. Scott has just started warming up for Arsenal, I can tell you. Here's Mitchell. Van der Donk still playing, keep ball in a tight space, and they've done it well. Crisp, 1-2 touch football. They've done that very well. Here's Quinn.
They've controlled this second half mostly for the second half, and really dominated in terms of chances created, goals scored.
And they create here. Lawley. McManus changes back to her right foot. Stanway, this is not convincing. It's patient. They need to find a ball of quality in there though. Horton delivers. Cleared away only as far as Stanway, and that's Ryan over the bar. There will be 3 minutes of added time. Now,
Substitution for
here comes Heather O'Reilly.
Number 7, Danielle Van der Donk.
Van der Donk will go off. She's been super today.
She's played well, better than the cup final. Clever player. Great finish that was for her goal.
Why didn't she play in the more advanced role in the cup final? Same personnel today, completely different team.
Yeah, it just shows you need Jordan Nobbs in there in the middle. Nice to see Heather O'Reilly and Alex Scott coming on.
Scott will come on for her 313th and last appearance for Arsenal. Last here anyway, I should say. A couple of games to go. Poked forward by Walsh. A little bit of chancy defending by Evans. Arsenal hit long. Manchester City, for a 5th defeat in 8 games, they've only lost 10 in 75. Shows you what a slump it has been.
Go, get!
Challenge on her by Stanley. She's got to be a little bit careful. Got a yellow card, she's saying she won the ball.
They both sort of stretched into this challenge, both her and Beth Mead.
Substitution for
Here's a special moment then.
3, Beth Mead.
Alex Scott, all smiles. There'll be a few tears a little bit later on. And she's going to replace Beth Mead. And she joined the Arsenal when she was 8 years of age. 21 trophies, 313 appearances across her 3 stints. Hugely popular, gets the captain's armband. She was the club skipper. And she's come on in an attacking position. She was a forward player in her early days. She's come on at centre forward. Here's Mitchell. Looking for Scott to try and run in behind Steph Horton.
It's great for her, great for Alex Scott. She deserves it at this club.
Manchester City's title hopes could be into their last few seconds. Here's Horton. Really poor pass. Scott's waiting for it in the middle. Dan Carter goes for goal. Blocked by Jem Beattie. And it's Scott's hugely frustrated in the middle. Nobbs. Here's Scott. Step over from O'Reilly. And that's it. A really, really important win for Arsenal leaves Manchester City's title dream in all but tatters. They have slumped so badly at the end of the season. They started so well with a goal from Nadim, but Arsenal, inspired by Jordan Nobbs, came back into it. Van der Donk levelled early in the second half, and 10 minutes later, Beth Mead got what could be a huge, huge winner. Arsenal beaten Manchester City by 2-1. Your thoughts, Lucy?
Yeah, much better second half from Arsenal, and they just caught City out in terms of the chances they created. Get the second goal, and Manchester City's heads just dropped, like they just knew what was coming.
Leith Jans came on as a substitute for Manchester City, but they look as if they are absolutely gone mentally.
Yeah, they definitely looked fragile as the goals went in against them, that they couldn't get themselves back up in front, back into the game. And I think that's just a product of the really important games they've lost over the last few weeks, mentally and physically drained.
They could beat Yeovil and Everton both at home in their last 2 games. It might not be enough, and Chelsea could virtually clinch it by beating Sunderland at home later today, or at Bristol City